Hello, this is the Ramblings of an Indisciple Mind podcast for Tuesday, March 10th, May 10th, darn it, 2016. As of this recording, Sierra is still missing. I may have mentioned this yesterday. It is week 6 of my capstone. And what is nice about this is the midpoint. Finished 5 weeks. I'm in the middle of the 6th, and then I've got 5 weeks to go after that. So after starting next week, I will have fewer weeks to go than I have already gotten. So what I thought I'd talk about today is I went over the weekend, because I'm bacheloring it now, as you can probably tell by my bachelor beard. For you on video, for you on audio, I probably sound just the same. But I stopped at the library to grab some movies. And I didn't get, I literally started at A and kind of walked through. And by the time I got to G, well, I actually skipped over to get one out of I that we'd had on our list to watch. I had 6 movies, so I didn't even got to the back end of the alphabet. But one of the movies I picked up just on a whim was one that I have not watched in a long time, but which I absolutely loved back in the day. And that is The Breakfast Club, starring Judd Nelson and Anthony Michael Hall and Ali Sheedy and the redhead girl, whose name that I suddenly can't remember, Molly Ringwald, there we go. And Emilio Estevez. And when I was a young adult, which is when this thing came out, I loved this movie to no end. I believe I saw it in theaters. When it came out on what was then VHS, I got myself a copy, one way or the other. It may have been something where I taped it off of HBO or something like that. I forget. But I had a copy. And for the longest time, when I got home in the evening, I would throw that puppy in. And I would just let it play. And I would, be getting home and I'd be making my dinner and I'd make my dinner and I'd sit there in front of the TV and watch that movie every day because it just spoke to me. It really did. And so I've been a little nervous about revisiting it, but I don't know. There was something about it. I saw it there on the shelf at the library, and I was like, all right, what the heck? Let's see what we think of it. And you know what? I still really enjoyed it. I don't know that it had quite the emotional resonance for me that it did back in the day. In case you've never seen it, so The Breakfast Club is about these 5 high school age kids. You've got, and there are all the kind of the stereotypes of kids in school, because you got the popular one, and you've got, that was Molly Ringwald, and Emilio Estevez played the jock, and you had Anthony Michael Hall, who played kind of the nerd geek, in chess club. This was kind of before computer geeks really came to be a thing, but so he was the guy that was in physics club and chess club, so that was kind of the geek for that age. And you had Ali Sheedy, and she was kind of like the really off the wall, weird / crazy gal. And then you had Judd Nelson, who played the Burnout. You know, the guy that had pot in his locker that would go out after at lunchtime and smoke pot behind the school kind of thing. And so they've all gotten Saturday detention for various things. And they don't know each other terribly well. There is some recognition between Emilio Estevez's character and Molly Ringwald's, because they're both kind of on the popular end of the spectrum. And so while they aren't friends and you know, they don't come in being a romantic item, there is a little bit of solidarity there between them. And so over the course of the day, you know, these 5 people kind of, through a number of things that happen, start to bond, and they start to realize that, you know, they're all just people, and they all have the same emotions, and they all have the same foibles. And the fact that Molly Ringwald is popular, and the fact that, you know, the rest of them are not, the fact that Ally Sheedy seems to be kind of nuts, and that Judd Nelson's character is a burnout. You know, they find out that those superficial things don't carry as much weight. You know, at the end, you know, and they even talk about at one point, you know, so what's going to happen Monday? What's going to happen Monday when we're back in school? You know, if I see you in the hall, are you going to acknowledge me? And, you know, the popular kids are like, you know, I got to be honest, no, probably not. And, you know, it is still has an interesting thing to say about how we interrelate and how we build walls between people that don't share our worldview, and how if you can get to the point where you get past your own expectations about somebody else, and you get past the facade that other people are putting up about, you know, about themselves, that you can find out that, you know, we all have more similarities than we have dissimilarities. And that's kind of the message of this film. And it's, you know, I still liked it quite a bit. I would happily sit down and watch it again. You know, I'm not probably going to. I don't think I'm going to have time before, because I got 6 movies. But it was, you know, a pleasant surprise that I enjoyed it. I still think it's relevant. It also has something to say not only about the interrelations, but you had like the assistant principal, who you could see how he pigeonholed each of these kids and how he reacted differently. Like, he reacted differently to the burnout than he did to the jock, and that was very easy to see. And you know, it's got a lot to say about, you know, how adults view these younger adults. I mean, you know, these are all high school age kids. They're not supposed to be that far from being adult themselves. So yeah, it was an interesting flick. So if you saw it when you were younger and liked it, I'd recommend watching it again. I think it's still meaningful, it's still relevant, it's still good filmmaking. John Hughes directed it. He made some great movies, and, you know, the acting was good. It's got some good music in it. And I think it still tells a message that still fits today. You know, even though it was, you know, pre-internet, pre-computers, and all this nonsense, you know, cell phone in your pocket, none of that stuff got brought up. You know, you know, our Facebook lifestyle and all this nonsense. It still has something to say. The themes are still relevant, and I think that's what really makes a good movie kind of be a step above. So, like I say, you know, I didn't I don't think it resonated quite as deeply, because I would have been the equivalent of Anthony Michael Hall's character, the geek-ish. My geek was not chess club and physics club. My geek was Star Wars, but I would be lumped with that guy. If I was going to that Saturday detention, I would sit next to that guy, because he and I would have enough of a basis, kind of like with the jock and the popular girl. They're close enough that they have solidarity. That would be me and that character. The sci-fi geek and the academic geek we would have solidarity with each other. So, and so I think the movie resonated with me so much back then was because I was still kind of getting through, some of those feelings and some of those things that maybe made me feel inadequate or less than I should be, and I've long since put that past me. So it doesn't give me that sense of righteous. Yes, this is how it's supposed to be. This is the way it really is. Everybody needs to understand that just because we do this or we look at this, that we've got the same fears, we've got the same hopes. We can screw up just as bad as the next person, and we're no better and we're no worse. And I think that was really what drew me in at that younger age of my life. But anyway, I think I'll let that be that for today. I will be back tomorrow. I'll be talking to you then. So, be seeing you.